I thought I would tell you an interesting freezing cold story since it's January of 2012. Back in 1996, we had the Arctic blast here. It lasted about a week, and the temperatures were like 40 below. It was an interesting week. And back then, I used to drive a 1977 Chevrolet Impala, four-door sedan, 305 V8 two-barrel car. It was my first car. And one morning or one afternoon, I went to a local farm and fleet store. It's kind of like Tractor Supply. And I warmed the car up in the driveway for several minutes before I took off going to the store. And I got to the store, and usually that car, when it was warmed up, it would stay warmed up for hours unless it would sit for 8 hours. Then you would have to warm it up again. So I was at the farm and fleet store. I walked in the store. I was in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. I got back out. I started the car, and it was racing. The engine was racing like it was sitting for 8 hours, and it was only sitting there 10 or 15 minutes. And considering the distances, that car was pretty well warmed up in my opinion. And it was that cold. The car cooled down, or the engine cooled down that fast, or the carburetor cooled down. The choke spring that makes the choke butterfly go back and forth. And that car, even though it did not warm up that well that day, it was the only car in my family that was running at the time. Mostly everybody's cars that were computerized in my family, their cars were dead, but that car always was running. It was the only live car in the family at that time. And yes, it was an interesting week. I mean, countless cars other than my family were broken down. And it was quite interesting, yes, when I went into the farm and fleet store for 10 or 15 minutes, I started up my car again to take off, and the engine was racing like it was sitting for 8 hours. And it was that cold. I couldn't believe it. And that concludes this video. Bye.